I'm Andy Katz. Pleased to be joined by Michigan State Hall of Fame head coach Tom Izzo and Michigan State's Cassius Winston. Tom, first, before we get to a couple highlights here, the legacy of Cassius Winston, what is it?
Well, it's going to be phenomenal, when you look back on it. I laugh about it with a lot of players, but Cash would be one that, when he came in and, all the crap he had to go through and just part of the deal, and then to end up one of the more decorated people that ever played here. And I think when you look forward, his stardom will grow because you start to appreciate all the things that he could do instead of always trying to correct the things like you do as a coach that he couldn't do. But man, the way he led us, and I think at the end of this year, he was playing some of his best basketball. I think his legacy will be right up there with 2 or 3 of the all-time greats, and that's a pretty good place to be.
Cassius, what did you think you could achieve when you got to Michigan State?
Just getting on the floor and playing. And that's what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go there. I want to be productive, and I want to win games. Like that was the extent of what I really thought my career was gonna be. Like if you would have told me that I would be Cassius Winston, you know what I'm saying, by the time I left, I wouldn't have believed that. So, it was a process, it was a journey, it was kind of like seeing things as we went, and it was like, oh, you can do this. All right, let's go do that. Or, oh, you can do this. Okay, let's go try to do that too. Like it all kind of happened along the process, and just like I said, I just enjoyed it one step at a time. That's
what I've appreciated most. He's got great humility, but when we were talking one time, I think it was going into his junior year, about becoming an All-American and be doing this and doing that. And he finally looked at me one day, you remember this, Cash? And he goes, well, I'm not sure I thought I could do all those things. So why are you mad at him? And I think that at the time I was saying, well, why not? And now as I look back, if more kids would handle it like that, they'd all be better because they would get better. And he was right. Everything, it was always a new challenge and a new goal. And when you become an All-American, that kind of says it all.
All right, so I want to go to arguably not just one of your best games in your career, but I think one of the most significant games during your 4-year career at Michigan State, and that was the Elite 8 win over Duke last year.
Tillman up ahead, Winston, no one near him, and he's going to come out with it, and Michigan State is headed to Minneapolis.
Let's pick it up here, Cassius. Earlier in the game, what was the mindset as you're approaching this team that was supposed to get to the Final Four, and that was Duke?
We knew they were a powerhouse team. Like that was the team to beat. Technically, they had better players, like more talented team. So, like my mindset was like, I'm gonna make sure my guys are okay out here. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna make plays. Like we can't score, I'm gonna score. We need a shot. Like I'm gonna make sure that we okay initially. So, like I said, it's a big stage. It's going to take guys a while to kind of get adjusted to being out there. Little did I know, like, guys came out ready. Like, when they was like when we got out there, like, dudes was ready. Like, they was ready to go. And it was just like we talking each other up in the locker room. We talking each other up, just being ready for this moment. We were the only ones that thought we could beat this team. And, like, we liked that position. Like, that was kind of position that we were comfortable with.
Tom, what was his mindset like in the pregame going into a game like this?
Well, there's a reason he's cool, Cassius. That's why I think we made a good pair because I'm up and down like a roller coaster and he's steady as a rock, And now that I think about it, half the time I was mad at him because I wanted him a little more, this way and that way. And that's probably what made us very successful. But I think what Cassius said is true, Andy. There were times in there he had to be a distributor. There were times he had to be a defender. There were times he just had to take over the game. And he kind of did it, including this great assist right there late in the game when you'd think he wanted to score himself, but he found a way to find a teammate.
Yeah, Tom, that play right before where he beats Trey Jones off the dribble, and a lot of players, maybe younger players, would have still taken it up, but potentially getting it blocked. He didn't do that. He obviously finds and dishes it off. I think that's to Xavier Tillman there in that play.
Well, that was a minute left to go in the game, and we're down 3 or 4, so down 3, I guess, most great players might have shot it. But the elite players find a way to make somebody else get a better shot. And that's kind of exactly the way he is. Now, I will say this. He was a little bit chicken at the end of this game because in 4 years, never saw him run that fast except when Zion was chasing him. So right here, he looked like Usain Bolt. I mean, he was just moving, man. That was beautiful.
How much did you feel Zion on your tail there, Cassius?
I felt it breathing down my neck. I was ready for my life.
All right, let's shift to a game earlier this season. What did this game mean to you against Binghamton earlier this year?
The world to me, honestly. I knew that, this would be the toughest moment for me to go out there and play on the floor. You know what I mean? So, I knew that this game right here would be the toughest time to go out there and actually play. So I had to do that for myself because later in the season, there were bad moments too. You know what I mean? There were games in the middle of the season. There was games at the end of the season where it was tough for me to go out there and play. But I already played when it was at its worst. That helped me later on in the year to go out there and play my best, even when I was hurting or even when I was down. You know what I mean? So I had to show myself that I can go out there and I can go out there and play. And so that kind of helped me throughout the whole season.
Yeah, Tom, if you can pick up, this is right after his brother tragically passed away. Zachary had passed away right before this. If you can pick up what this game meant to you to see him out there.
Well, it made me feel like he might be the most mentally tough person or player that I've ever coached or been around, because we were together at about 4:30 in the morning at the hotel. We had a 10 o'clock shoot around. And I remember being at the shoot around and telling him I wouldn't play. And, normally he doesn't listen to me anyway, so he was going to do what he wanted to do. But I think he learned that he had the strength and the inner drive to be able to departmentalize and kind of, focus in on the task at hand. And so when people talk about toughness, I say there's physical, there's mental. He might be the most mentally tough guy that I've ever coached.
So now let's shift forward to the end of the season. At the time, we didn't know it would be the last game against Ohio State, your senior day.
Let's watch and listen. One of the best ever here.
Like I said, it's one of the best traditions in college basketball. You know what I'm saying? That kiss is all of Michigan State, everything I had at Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? That's me saying I love you to Michigan State. You know what I mean? Michigan State did a lot for me. Coach Izzo did a lot for me. This program did a lot for me to help me grow, to help me, mature, to help me have an opportunity to chase my dream and chase my goal. I appreciate that green and white. And I will for the rest of my life. And that's thankful to the fans, to the people here, to the coaches, to the players. They made this one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So, going out there and kissing that floor, that's a proud moment that I made it through here, and it's my last game right here. So it's great to feel that love, to feel that appreciation, because I appreciate them so much too.
Tom, what was that hug like?
For a million reasons, and most of them Cassius, this to me was the greatest senior night ever. Not only did we raise a championship banner, but we were coming on strong at the end of the year. And I don't think, other than the 300 people that were there from Ohio State, I don't think a person left the building. And he was the reason. I think people, grow up saying, I can be Cassius Winston. Just because I can't dunk, just because I don't have this incredible speed, He was kind of one for everybody. That, he was thanking the Michigan State people. The hug was to thank him. Thank you for showing me how to get through a very difficult time with humility, with perseverance, and with focus like nobody I've ever seen go through something like that.
It was really unbelievable to follow you over 4 years, and we know that you're going to be successful at the next level and whatever you choose to do going forward. There's no question about it. As Tom just said, class all the way. So most importantly now in the short term, stay safe. And we appreciate everything that you've done for the game as well. Tom, thank you as well.